Hey guys, welcome to another session of Epic 7. So we got Lilibet in the hero journal. So with all the speculation on, if she's going to be a free hero, connection hero, limited hero, ML hero, we finally have some answers. So she won't be a limited hero. She'll probably be on the next banner from when I'm making this video. So it depends on when you watch it. It might be the current banner. She's going to be an Earth hero and not a connection. So from like looking at this, lately I've been doing some of these theory crafting videos for ML Cecilia, ML Zerato, and stuff like that. I would say that out of the three, I'm most excited about Lilibet. I think she's really game changing, and probably gonna be like the next level in terms of like meta. So here we go. We're gonna dive right into it. So she has the same star sign and the same class as Luna. So expect the same base stats there. 109 speed, pretty decent for a warrior. 6,266 health and 1,119 attack. Attack range is not the highest in terms of warrior, but it's like mid tier. It's good enough. I mean, for those of you who actually build Luna, don't count the S2 passive. You know what kind of attack you can get her to quite easily. Now the only thing is that she won't have a crit chance passive compared to Luna. Now I know I'm only comparing to Luna right now because that's the only warrior that's a Libra that I can think of off the top of my head right now. But in terms of kits, they wouldn't be the same at all. No crit chance in the innate there. Pretty good defense, 627, and like I said, really beefy. Pretty good all around stats, I would have to say. But yeah, you just have to really obviously farm the catalyst for that 6-star awaken. I think you really do need it. I think it's a health or defense, something at the end there, to really make her really tanky. Like quickly off the bat, like I mean, if you take this as a, I would say like for a Luna, kind of like as a base for like if you're building Luna or Surmi or something like that. If you run her with a speed set, with attack boot, attack ring, and maybe critical hit damage necklace, which I would definitely recommend, judging by how her skills are laid out and her damage mods, probably attack, and then like crit damage. You would want to like dig deep for some speed substats, but definitely I would say a speed set to make her relevant if you're going to use her for PvP scenarios, which is I think really where she would shine. I can't really think of where Extinction would work that well in PvE. Maybe on some Abyss floors. I don't even know if like certain monsters who revive. I'm just thinking about like that, I think floor 85 of the Abyss, ML Ken, and that mushroom that keeps spawning, reviving. I don't know if Extinction can really like just end it. That would be really awesome if it could. Yeah, but I think in PvP is where she's going to shine. And it seems that her kit is designed like to take on like the Dizzy meta, or not even like hard counter, but take on for sure the Dizzy meta and some of like the ML Baal meta. So it's kind of cool that you can get that in a regular non-ML hero. Though it's not a limited banner, so there's no pity summons. So for free-to-play players, unless you get lucky, it's gonna be kind of tough. But I would say she's pretty good. Judging, we have some data mined mods and stuff like that as well. And she seems to be one of the strongest single target damage dealers at this point. I was just saying this in another video about Sigret's buffs. Sigret naturally actually would still probably deal more damage than she does. If you have debuffs, and Sigret can now penetrate 10% defense per debuff plus a 30% flat defense penetration. So comparable, but I would say Lilibet is more usable in Arena right now. So take a look really quick on the S3 here. Soul Cutter, you acquire 2 souls from using it. It only takes 10 souls for the soul burn and it increases the damage dealt. In damage dealt, soul burn is a 2.4 times damage mod. That's more than Luna by 0.2. That's more than Sid by 0.2. That's very high for soul burn. S3 single target, right? Keep that in mind. Without the soul burn, it's a 1.8 times. That beats Luna. That beats Sid. I keep using Sid as an example. It beats Surmia, but now don't count that. What's it called? the ignore defense on Surmi is S3, but on her like straight, it's really strong. You have a 35% more damage increase based on her raw damage if you skill enhance this to the max. So 5, 10, yeah, so 35. Yeah, 35 is pretty good. A lot of damage dealers, you know, end up at 30. I think Luna's S3 ends up at a 30 damage, raw damage. She has 35, so an additional 5%. 4-turn cooldown if you do Mola this to +3. Very usable. Again, like I said, if you have, let's say, running her with like a Syria Tamarine and you know, maybe Biken would work really well with her as well. And herself, it's gonna bring like a lot of utility. You can use Assyria to like reset her cooldown as well, so she gets 2 extinction. That can be very usable. I can't think of an exact team comp Theorycraft right now, but you know, if I do pull Lilibet and if I do build her and invest in her, you know, I'll make a future feature video on her in the future. The S2 is amazing as well. Inflicts up to 4 bleed for 2 turns. 2 turn 4 bleed. That's 8 ticks of bleed. If you put her before Biken right now, which is one of the most insane damage dealers, as long as they don't have high resistance and immunity up, she can pair really well. 4 bleeds on 1 skill. Now keep in mind though that it is a 50%, up to a 50% chance to proc the bleed up to 4 times. So likelihood, unless you're extremely lucky, you're kind of unlikely to get all 4 bleeds to go off, right? And then you have to consider that they might have high effect resistance, and that you could just get unlucky with the effect resist to effectiveness roll. But still, up to a 4 bleed, which is really good. So on average, you can look at about maybe 2 bleeds. 2 bleed, 2 turns, which is still very usable for Biken to explode and detonate. Very awesome. And you know, like I said, you would build her kind of like Luna, high attack, high crit damage, of course get enough crit chance there, and you know, if for any substats, of course speed and then maybe HP and defense, like a combo. So she can sort of work like Luna, except that she won't have the bruiser passes. The S1 also very impressive, up to us as well a 50% chance. It says strikes and slices enemies with up to a 50% if you Mola this to unable to be buffed for 2 turns. That's extremely awesome. You keep that in mind that, you know, if you have her quite speedy, you can pull that off quite a bit. That's a free unbuffable right there. I think she's the only hero that can do unbuffable like that without cooldown. Even though it is a 50% chance to proc, but you know, like 50% chance you can get really lucky, and that can really save you. Assyria has unbuffable, Soul Bad Guy has unbuffable, Basar has unbuffable, but they're all running on cooldown durations. So if you have this on an S1, even though it's 50%, it's still super OP. It's so good. It's so good. Oh, someone was saying Surmia S1. Yeah, that's unhealable, not unbuffable. Yeah, another thing, obviously, she does have, apparently, shares the same imprint as Luna, too. So SSS Lilibet, up to a 14% chance to get the critical hit chance up, which is really cool. If you guys know my playstyle, I run really low crit chance. So I was looking at this, I'm like, this is pretty cool, but I don't think I'm going to go for SSS. There's no guarantee of getting multiples of her since it's not going to be a limited banner. We're gonna take a quick look at her skills, and I'll probably like end off like, you know, talking about it a bit.
Don't worry, I'll make a nice cut. Snip, snip.
I think she has the same voice as Lidica. But anyways, yeah, let's check it out.
Just one cut through your soul. You disgusting punks! I'll get rid of you all.
Yeah, so I mean, it's pretty cool.
Don't blame me.
I love that S2. That S2 looks so awesome. Looks like a freaking ninja, man. Look at that, man. My eyes, man. I can't even, hold on, let's see. Let's test this out. Alright, yeah, so you look at the average, right? So obviously this is only up to a 35%, so not a 50%. But you can see sort of like, if you get the 50%, I did 3 right there. 1 and then 2 bleeds and then another 1. So you can kind of imagine if you get this to 50%, which I think it's still worth it, to be honest. If you're investing in her, I think it's still worth it to get that 50%, get that extra 15. You can imagine your average is going to be about 2. So 2 ticks of so 2 bleeds with 2 turns, so 4 ticks of bleed. But that's enough for Baiken to explode like a lot. And keep in mind that if Baiken has RNL, you can do S2 into S1, which is 3 bleeds into 2 bleeds, and then into the detonate. So it's very, very high. And obviously if you get lucky, you can get even more, right? So, and then the unbuffable for the S1 up right now, it's a default at the 35%. Yeah, 35%. There you go. It's 1.
I'll make a nice cut.
Yeah, so it's like mostly like 1 out of 3. You're looking at that kind of average, but again, everything is RNG here.
Can't stop me. Don't worry, I'll make a nice cut.
Yeah, well, it's not happening.
You disgusting punks.
What? Does it just not work anymore?
Nice cut. Snip, snip.
All about the S3 damage at the start. There you go. There you go. Well, you guys can see that 35%, huh? I wish you can kind of reset their status ailment so you can kind of get a better average. And this doesn't really count. Well, I landed no bleeds on that one. So yeah, 35%, 4 bleeds. I landed none on the number 1 there. Maybe take a look at the S3 again. If you soul burn it, obviously more damage, but you can't see the effect here because you capped that damage on the sandbags. But she's cool. She's really cool. I actually didn't think I would like her that much, but you know, once I took a look at her animation, took a look at her skills and her damage formula, damage mods, I'm really impressed with her. Actually, I didn't talk about the damage mods for the S2 and S1. So the S2 has a weird, interesting thing here. So after awakening, it does additional damage when target isn't buffed. Now I'm looking at the data mine right now. There's no description on how much damage, so maybe the info is not there yet. I'm not 100% sure. But that's interesting. When I read that, I thought that was very interesting because you know we're in the debuffer meta and the stripper meta as well. So I mean, for her to like sustain high damage mods, possibly even without attack buffs, she can do a lot of damage. It's gonna really help in, like I said, countering the ML Baal comps, countering the Dizzy comps, especially like Dizzy with Leela Violin. This is gonna come in handy, but again, I don't have the numbers on this, so this is an early theory crafting video. We probably won't see it until maybe later. But as a one times mod on the S2, very solid, and a 1 times mod as well on the S1. So I mean, 3 turn cooldown for this, no lowering the cooldown on this S2, 3 turns there, of course that's free, and then yeah, 4 turns. So very usable all around, very usable hero. I would definitely say even if Sigret does more damage than her, I would be more excited. I'd be more excited for her. I don't know why. I think it's just because her kit offers a lot to this meta right now. While Sigret, yes, you can nuke out, but then ML Vildred right now is like gonna be in every defense team pretty much, which is super annoying. It's gonna be super annoying. Anyone with Mei Chloe, Ruel, and ML Vildred, it's gonna be super annoying. But if you have Lilibet and you get that first turn, generally ML Vildreds won't be built super fast. I'm saying that with a grain of salt because some of them are pretty fast. If they're a cleaver, they're not gonna be super fast. So ideally, you could get that turn first. And you know, even with C-Arm passive, I did some testing in arena. Even with C-Arm passive with Aureus, he can still be one-shotted pretty easily. So you know, usually people using a Vildred will be kind of banking on him being strong and just reviving and just cleaving the entire team out. So they won't really care about the tankiness aspect, but I'm pretty sure with Lilibet on the scene, it's going to change some builds for Arbiter Vildred. It's going to be interesting though, for sure. I think introducing her right now into this meta is very important because I feel like we were in a stalemate almost. Like we were kind of stuck with no kind of variety. You either like cleave out the enemy team like as quick as possible, or you know, I don't know, It's just, I don't know, it's weird. It feels like it's the same teams over and over. I feel that with her now, it's going to change the attacking side. Now, I'm not 100% sure how good she will be on the defensive team. I'm not quite sold on it yet. I don't think she'd be super crazy on a defensive team. While because of all her like debuffs and like even extinction, it could be usable if you throw more RNG heroes. So like maybe like a cart for survivability. You know, someone with Aureus and maybe C Armin or something like that. Maybe Revivers on your own team as well. She might be okay on a defensive team, but I'm maybe shined in GVG more so. So right now, you know, not even plugging in like the numbers into the calculator, because again, I'm using Luna as my reference in terms of like, you know, gear and stuff. Actually, you know what? Let's take a look. I'm gonna dive into my Luna actual build. Now my Luna is not good whatsoever. I'm laughed at because my crit chance is so low. But just to say that, you know, without counting the S2 passive, you can look at stats near this. All right. Now it's because I'm running a lifesteal set on her. I'm really kind of like, you know, cheating myself out of some crit chance. Now, obviously, I do think that Lilibet would benefit more so with some speed. So I'm thinking ideally probably run her with a speed set and crit set at the most. Because again, she's lacking a bit of critical hit chance. And you ideally want like up to a 55 or 65% crit damage necklace. A way better ring than this. My Luna could use an upgrade, but I'd need it for the critical hit chance there. But yeah, 60% there. And then get some like good substats. I think I actually have the gear to build up Lilibet, which I was gonna get to my cigarette, but Tara was saying that, hey, you know what, maybe hold off on your cigarette if Lilibet's coming, and I have to agree. This is my Surmia right now. You can see the attack there. Even though Surmia has a 1300, almost 1400 attack base, so her scaling is really high, but it's the same concept. But she has a speed set, so 144 speed. That's not really good. I don't have many speed substats. Ideally, for Lilibet, you would want almost speed substats almost in every piece, But 60, 60, and then 160, and then 65 again. And then my Baiken, I'll just show this as well because my Baiken is running similar concept. So you guys get a sense of like the builds. So 55% crit damage. I use this because of the 12% crit chance there, so that's a bit lower than what I usually want to run. But she has a 60% and a 60%, but she has 10 speed on that boot there. No speed there. Do I have any other speed? No other speed. She really needs more speed. But because she's a thief, she actually has higher innate speed than Lilibet. So Lilibet, with a speed set without a speed boot, you're looking at about, I think about Surmia level speed. So with the substats, you're looking at 150 speed. With a couple substats, like good speed substats, let's say if I took my my Baiken boot and put it on the Surmia build, for example, you're looking about like 100, 160, up to 160, 170 with speed on every single piece. All right. So I mean, there's not. Oh, I got 7 on here. Actually, that's not bad. So I think Rare Ruby says pretty much build her the exact same as my Surmia. Yeah, I think so, Rare Ruby. I'm on the same line. She's gonna be a nuker, but I think she needs to be slightly faster. And because of Baiken's sake, and my Baiken, I don't plan to rebuild her anytime soon. Maybe I'll take a look because it's free equip event right now. I'll take a look. I'll just move some gear around. But ideally, I want my Lilibet to be faster than my Baiken regardless, since Baiken should be able to nuke out any hero by herself if she can get the bleeds on. But Lilibet needs to end that hero with extinction. So ideally, I want Lilibet. Like, there's no real reason to have Lilibet go after Baiken. Ideally, if I'm just theorycrafting a comp that I'm generally using for everything now in PvP, which is a Syria Tamarine, Baiken, and Sid. Sid for the speed imprint is very nice, but I could replace that easily with Lilibet, lower the speed on all heroes. I'm just thinking right now, and have her as a secondary nuker. But she'd be hard counter for that Vildred, Arbiter Vildred. So she's a must pull. Now, and in terms of artifacts, what do you guys think? What do you guys think on her? If she's gonna go for the one-turn nuke, maybe Portrait of Savior. If she's gonna go for like sustainable damage, since she's single target, maybe Uberius Tooth. What do you guys think? Hey Grandmas, welcome to stream. Oh, hey Vortex, thank you for that. So Vortex says, Jagan, Lilibet's S2 is 20% more damage on unbuffed enemies. Oh wait, I thought, did I read it wrong? Well, I wouldn't be surprised if I read it wrong. I read stuff wrong all the time. I thought it was oh, the target isn't buffed. I see. It's not herself. GG. I mixed that up. I thought it was caster isn't buffed. It would be interesting. Okay, never mind. Then she's not as counter to ML Baal as I originally thought. Never mind. I thought if she does more damage, if she is not buffed, that would be an interesting concept. That would be an interesting concept. But yeah. Okay. Well, if on unbuffed target. That would be that would be better in another sense. If I'm talking about team comps and using Assyria Tamarine comp there, we got two strippers. Assyria and Tamarine both strip. So that can really, really help her. 20% more damage, wow. On a 1x mod, huh? So yeah, but maybe Portrait of Savior. Maybe Portrait of Savior for her. But I think Uberius 2, if you can get near 4k attack, 3,700 attack or higher, I would say go Uberius Tooth. I think that extra proc would probably be more. But then you would, to get 100%, you would want Uberius Tooth to be maxed or near maxed. If enemy has immunity set with her S2 on first turn, no, you would never. I would probably never go. If they have immunity, why would I even bother using the S2? Why don't you just go with the S1? They have the same mods, and you're not gonna inflict any of the buffs, so you just go S1. You wouldn't waste an S2 on an immunity hero. You wouldn't go S2 though. You wouldn't at all. There's no if someone has immunity on the same damage mods on both. Why are you wasting the S2? How about her artifact? What's her artifact? Did we get the data mine on that? I actually haven't seen that one myself. Oh, it's in the journal? Okay, let me just double check. Let's check this out. Okay, oops, sorry. Journal. 5-star warrior. Alright, got it. 5-star warrior. Ah, creation and destruction? Alright, let's take a look. 10% chance for skill cooldown not to occur. Up to a 20% chance for skill cooldown not to occur. So she can, ideally, if it procs, what this means is you can go into S3 and S3. That's not bad. 20% though, man. That proc rate. I'm not convinced this is that good. A 20% proc rate. I don't know. 20% feels very, very low to me. It feels very low to me. While that can occur like infinitely, I guess, because you could go S3, 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 S3 if you get really lucky. That's as high as an RNL proc. And I'm thinking of all my arena scenarios where I'm running RNL on Baiken and how much it procs. Sometimes you get really lucky. Sometimes RNL is really lit, So technically this is like, okay, well, let me put it this way. From this reading, I would say this is like the better RNL, but not exactly the same. You don't get another turn, but then the next turn you're still guaranteed that. I don't know. I wouldn't mind getting the artifact, I'll have to say that. But I don't know. I mean, that's like second time Jagan said lit, we need to stop this. Okay, fine, I'll stop this. Imagine Kayron with this. No, Kayron can't use this. This is a warrior artifact, Martin. It only works when she's using a skill. Yes, it only works when she's using a skill, yes. So it's not RNL in that case, yeah. It's different. Never mind. I just thought of the proc rate. I just thought it's like similar to RNL. No, it's not. It's completely different. Very interesting mechanic though. This is the first artifact that we have anything similar to this. Don't even count for the skill cooldown. I'm not convinced. To be honest, I'm not convinced. If you're going to use her in arena on attacking side, I would rather run Iberia's Tooth or Portrait, just to ensure the extinction. While I get it, I get you can get, you know, another one, but like, okay, let's put it in this way. Let's theorycraft this. If there is Ruel, if there is Arbiter Vildred, let's not count Maid Chloe in there. Let's not put all 3 revivers in there. If you put those 2 in there, she nukes out Arbiter Vildred. He can't be revived. You know, there's no point doing it extinction on Ruel, right? You get it? So like, because no one else would revive her. The only time that this artifact actually becomes useful, I think, in PvP would be if all 3 revivers are in the same team, but you're still counting on a very low proc rate. I think there's a better way to deal with it. Honestly, let's say you run both revivers, all right, Maid Chloe and Ruel and Arbiter Vildred. You nuke out Arbiter Vildred with extinction. He can't get revived. So there's really, you're just gonna wait, you reset your cooldowns and stuff naturally. You don't even need this artifact. That's the way I'm thinking right now. I could be wrong though. This is just me, my first impression. Another reviver SS Acades in the mix? Well, that doesn't make a difference. Once you extinguish. So let's say if all 3 revivers, all 3 healer revivers, Maid Chloe, SS Acades, Ruel, and Arbiter Vildred. You extinct Arbiter Vildred. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? You can just literally just like slowly grind them down, get her reset. And like I said, if you build her quick enough and if you have a Syria Tamarine combo, bam, it's over. It's over. What are you gonna do? So I don't think you need this artifact for her. You're just joking? No. I know you're joking, but you know, someone could pose that question, right? It doesn't, you know, it doesn't mean this can't be addressed. I think because that's the worst case scenario for you wanting to get her skill cooldown not to occur, would mainly be for the extinction. I don't think the bleed is kind of nice, but like I said, you saw the proc rate on those sandbags, 50-50. You get 2, so even if it doesn't, you know, comes back, you get it again, like, you're not really going to care about it, I think. But if it's the chance to use the skill counter, like, so if it's 20% chance for the skill cooldown not to occur, it only works for that skill too. So no, I would say that this artifact is not that good. My initial reading of this, it has to be that skill. So if you end up proccing on the S2 but not on the S3, you still have to wait for the S3 all the way till it comes back before this can proc again, possibly for the S3. So yeah, no, I would say this is a pretty garbage artifact. I can't think of anyone that would really benefit from it, to be honest. 20% proc rate is too low for me, especially on a nuker. What do you mean it's only once? It's once per time you go, right? So Mega Man says, like, if she S2 get proc, if her S2 procs and her S3 procs, yes, you can technically get them, but like I'm just saying, if you don't get lucky on one of the procs, you have to wait for that skill cooldown all over again for that artifact to be useful for that skill, you know? It's actually not good at all. Yeah, it's pretty useless in my opinion. In my opinion though, but I don't know. It could be wrong. I could be wrong. Anyways, that's it. That's it for this. I'm gonna end this video here. So yeah, that's my thoughts on Lilibet. Very, very cool hero. Hopefully I can get her quick. My ML pulls are not lucky. Hopefully my regular banner pulls are okay lucky. Yeah, so yeah, I'm gonna end this one here. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below on for YouTube's sake. What do you guys think about Lilibet? What do you think about her artifact? Are you psyched that she's coming? I am totally. So let me know what you guys think. I'm gonna end this here. If you guys have Discord, check out the Discord server. Follow me on Twitter and subscribe to YouTube if you haven't. As always, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time.